Hello, Happy New Year! Welcome to Record Time. Record Time is a weekly Akashic experience where we explore simple and mysterious themes through the lens of the Akashic Records. I'm so happy to be here with you. We made it to 2025, and I'm very excited to dive in. If we've been friends for a long time, if we've been hanging out a long time, you know that at this time of the year, at least over the last couple of years, the records and I tend to muse on winter and kind of like the spirit and the intentionality and the wisdom of this season. And I'm still feeling enamored and drawn to the wisdom of this season, having entered winter recently again in the Northern Hemisphere. So I figured we could muse upon that one more time. So as I tune in to the message, I invite you to just take a moment to relax. Take a deep breath if that feels good, if it's safe, if it's accessible, if it's comfortable. You could even close your eyes, as long as you're not multitasking. And just take a moment to arrive here. So, the dear keepers of the Akashic Records are asking us, where is your discernment this season? Where is your discernment this season? And they're using the word season instead of winter because it might not be winter where you are, and this is a relevant question to ask in any season. Where is your discernment this season? So let's get into what they mean by this. So in past years and past episodes of Record Time, I've spoken to winter being this kind of like natural quieting, natural slowness. This is a topic so many people have explored. Catherine May has a wonderful book called Wintering. If you haven't read it, it's beautiful. But if you look out at nature in a place that, experiences a true winter, you'll see, the plants are dormant and the animals are quiet and there's a stillness in the air, there's less light. And so everything in nature is kind of like beckoning us, it's signaling us, it's showing us that it's a time to kind of get quiet and go inward. And yet, at this time of the year, in so many cultures, especially in the West, it's an intense season of hustling, bustling, doing, expending resources, traveling, doing all of this stuff that really feels at odds with the natural rhythm of this season, which is more down, in, quiet, instead of up, out, loud, and expressive. So it seems like there's something at odds here. And at the same time, right, and after the holiday season, there's also the New Year's rush, right? So it's like we go straight from the like extremely energetic, sometimes chaotic feeling of the holiday season straight into the like hustle and like burst of energy and doing that often comes with the New Year's, where it's like setting goals, resolutions, going back to the gym, like getting all of your work stuff organized, saying this is the year I'm going to start all these new habits and let go of all these other habits and whatever. It's a lot of intense doing, willful energy, which is beautiful. And yet again, it's coming at this time, like it's like 9 days, 10 days after winter begins is the new year. So it's like, that's a pretty intense, catalyzing energy at the very beginning of the most quiet, restful season. So saying all of this just to notice that the cultural traditions are often at odds with the natural beckoning and wisdom of the season. So just noticing that there's a pretty big felt difference there in the pace even of those two things. So we can just take that in for a moment as I continue to listen. So noticing those two things can feel like they're at odds, and in many ways are very much at odds. At the same time, this season, winter, right? The first day of winter is marked by the start of Capricorn season. So the winter solstice is the beginning. It's Capricorn season. It's the first day of that. And Capricorn is a unique energy. And I think it's a misunderstood energy. It's a very deep energy that in, pop culture astrology, we kind of tend to look at the surface of all of the signs and, kind of play up there, which is really fun. But Capricorn has such a depth to it. And so something I've been just kind of like holding in my awareness over the last few days is, yeah, there's a real like slowness and a quieting that happens with winter, and also this like catalyzing energy that we feel around the new year to set goals and intentions and to like enter this like desire to do something for the year ahead. That's also like, that's very resonant with Capricorn energy. And it seems like there's a deep wisdom that might be available to us from Capricorn. So we're going to explore the wisdom of Capricorn here for a moment as we not necessarily reconcile, but just muse upon like the reality of all of these different things we experience in this season, culturally and naturally, and all of the things. So Capricorn is the expert of managing resources. All of the earth signs have this capacity. They are resourceful, they tend to their resources, they care for their resources, they're good at gathering resources, and resources can mean so many different things, so I'll leave it to you and your imagination, your knowing, to kind of like muse upon what resources might mean to you. And yet Capricorn's relationship to resources is different than the other earth signs because it is winter, right? Capricorn exists in wintertime, at least in the northern hemisphere. And in winter, the resources are much more limited. They're very finite. It's not the same as like the resources that are available in nature in spring or at the end of summer. It's really different. So in the depths of winter, how do you care for your resources? That's the question. That's one of the questions that Capricorn is in deep relationship with, where it's like, I have to get through the whole winter and I only have this much food from my harvest. This is what I have left, and I have to get through to the next season before the earth wakes up again and there's more resources to begin gathering. So there is a very wise, clear discernment that Capricorn has when it comes to how it relates to its resources. And that is, right, that discernment is, how am I going to use what I have wisely to get where I'm going, which might be to stay alive until the next season. And it can be like deep in this survival kind of spirit of like, I need to survive until winter ends, which is a super real thing. And it's also like, how do I use what I have to get where I want to go, right? In a less survival mode sense, but in a more practical, it's still deeply practical of like, it's rooted in reality, the reality of the resources you have available, where it's like, this is what I have. How can I use this to carry me into where I want to go? So with all of that in mind, knowing that about Capricorn, and also knowing that Capricorn is a sign of hard work and long work. It is devotional work. It's lifelong work. It is the mountain goat, right? So it's like, it is the being that spends its lifetime climbing a mountain or many mountains. So that's a long journey. This is like Capricorn thinks in the long term. It doesn't think in the immediate now. And so we're sitting with this sign that has a innate skill for discernment of resources, and also has this like deep, like innate impulse to work hard in the long term, to set its sights on the top of the mountain and work slowly towards climbing that mountain. So it's a very specific type of energy. And this season happens at the start of winter and at the cusp of the new year. So we're in Capricorn season right now, and you might be setting goals. You might be feeling that New Year's burst of energy, and that's wonderful. You might also feel the deep call to rest, and that's wonderful too. But wherever you are, what the records and what Capricorn itself invites us to do at this time is to pause, take a breath, and be with your discernment before acting. Look before you leap. Pause before you speak. And just be in the sacred quietness before action. There's a pause that precedes action if you allow there to be one. And that pause, if you have a pause before action, that is the space, the seed, which and where wisdom can be cultivated. So your action is more intentional, more effective, and more fulfilling. So the records are offering us this question, right? Where is your discernment this season? And what they mean by that is, from what place are you setting your intentions? From what place are you setting your goals? Are you jumping into New Year's resolutions without thinking about them first? Where are these goals and intentions coming from? Are they coming from need? Are they coming from habit? Are they coming from comparison? Are they coming from conditioning? Are they coming from who people tell you you should be? Or are they coming from who you know you are and what you know you want? Those are two really different places for an intention to come from. And what they mean when they say, where is your discernment, right? Are you being with your discernment this season? It's taking the moment to pause before jumping into action. So yes, Capricorn season this season, Capricorn has this deep spirit of work. Capricorn loves a New Year's resolution. Absolutely. It loves a goal. It loves an intention. But it also is like the herald and the essence of winter and wisely discerning how you're going to use your resources to fulfill that intention, to make that goal happen. So it's not just like frivolously jumping into a goal or an intention. Capricorn must pause and think and be with its wisdom, let its wisdom lead before going. That's Capricorn exalted, as opposed to Capricorn and its detriment, which would just jump into any goal and just grind until it's totally worn out. It absolutely has that capacity. But the wisdom of Capricorn, the wisdom of winter, is asking us to pause before we act. And they're offering us this phrase. You might know the phrase, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And what Capricorn is saying is the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single breath. It's the breath that precedes the first step. It's the pause to collect yourself, to gather yourself, to decide, to look and orient towards where you want to go, and then taking that first step in the intended direction. So that's where I'm going to leave you for today. I would love to know how you feel about Capricorn season, how you feel about setting goals. Maybe that's your jam, maybe it's not. How do you feel about winter and pausing? Let me know what your thoughts are, what your musings are. If this sparked something in you, I want to hear it. So feel free to send me a message or leave a comment on this video to share your musings around this topic. And I'm wishing you well until next time, and I'm wishing you a beautiful year ahead. Namaste.